Nom 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 nom.
Hey there, folks, come and see. Tune in now for laughs and glee. Join the fun here on this spree. Click and subscribe, it's free.
After 8 weeks of watering and caring for these gorgeous little flowers, finally they bloomed. They survived unusual dry spells, a cricket and grasshopper infestation of biblical proportions, and the other occupant of this property, let's just say her vigorous, relentless, and indiscriminate hacking and slashing. They survived all of it. It's funny how pretty everything is starting to look. All we needed was a little bit of rain and that wonderful Thailand humidity that everybody loves oh so much. As you know, I'm trying to make the front of the property more, happy. I believe that your environment is really important to the way that you feel, not just about yourself, but as the world in general. You don't want to be in a miserable place or a miserable location. You can fix a lot of things with color, I tell you. And like I said, there is a bunch of indiscriminate hacking and slashing, a lot of it due to poor vision and some of it due to just forgetting what plants are weeds and which plants are necessary or the ones that we want on the property. So as a workaround, I've been writing these little things out and placing them beside each of the plants that I don't want to be utterly destroyed, and it seems to be working. Now, I planted maybe 20 to 30 different things, probably north of that. I'm not 100% sure. I don't want a barren landscape come this dry season. There were mistakes along the way. Lots and lots of mistakes. For example, I took this tree and planted it in the ground because it looked like it was outgrowing the container that it was in. Only then to discover afterwards, as a matter of fact, 2 hours afterwards, when I was thinking, well, what in the hell is this tree anyway? Should it be there? Is it invasive? Does it belong in Thailand? I mean, it does look like a pine tree, and pine trees, well, they wouldn't do too well in this kind of environment. I discovered that it is a Norfolk pine tree, which is not a true pine tree. This is a tree that prefers warm and humid climates, so it's not a true pine, but a tree that nonetheless grows to 200 feet tall and can have a 10-foot wide trunk.
Oh man! Oh God! Oh man! Oh God! Oh man!
Oh, and would you look at that, it's back in a container. In its place, I put a humble yellow flower hibiscus. I'm really fond of hibiscus, even though their flowers only tend to be open or bloomed for like a day or two at the very most at a time. The flowers are large and they are gorgeous, and they come in several colors. They only grow to 6 to 8 feet tall. The orange jubilees went through an initial 3 weeks of dropping their flowers, but have since recovered and are back to producing these lovely flowers. They should grow between 10 and 12 feet tall, and I plant and train them into trees. Every bush that I have can be planted into trees, and that is my preference. Okay, so forgive me, I've got the window open, so you're going to hear some ambient sounds outside, but most of which are going to be pleasant, other than an occasional scuffle between dogs that apparently don't know how to get along. Now, this beauty here is a pomegranate tree, the variety of which I am not entirely sure. These originate from Persia, and I don't know that much about pomegranate trees. Everything I know I've had to Google. Pomegranates, though, drop all their leaves during the winter months, or as we call them here in Thailand, the hot, dry months as opposed to the hotter, wet months. So I mistakenly thought this might have been a sugar apple tree that just kind of fell on very, very bad days. Once the leaves started popping up at the end of April, I knew that I was dealing with a different kind of tree, not a sugar apple tree, but just didn't know what kind of tree. Google insisted it was a pomegranate tree once the leaves fully matured, and sure enough, Google was correct. Our house sits on roughly a half acre of land, and when we first got here, much of it was covered with dried, hardened, dusty red clay. That kind of soil is not conducive to growing a lot of things unless you want to grow rose bushes all over the place. Apparently roses like clay soil. So I assumed many of those trees and bushes that were hastily planted for sake of selling the house may have died. Well, it's now 8 months since I returned to the kingdom, and slowly, ever so slowly, things are falling into place. Everything lived, though I did decide to remove 3 of the 8 sugar apple trees that we had, and I'll be removing 1 more. Trust me, I hate to remove trees. I actually get kind of emotional when I have to cut a tree down. That tree did not ask to be born a tree. I don't even know if born is the right word for plants, but anyways, that tree did not ask to be quote unquote manifested as a tree, and by virtue of it not being able to escape or go or move or anything like that, I'm kind of trusted with the care of that tree, right? It's a living thing. No, I'm not a hippie, but it is a living thing, and I don't like cutting things down just for sake of cutting them down. But 8 was excessive, and there were other plants that I wanted in the way. Also, when the fruits drop, and they do drop, and we can't keep up with all of them, they attract flies and rodents. Thailand is still a foreign retirement destination, though I would imagine these days that there is steep competition. The rules and regulations for foreigners have gotten kind of strange. All those rules and regulations that you have to contend with can be dizzying sometimes. So the willingness for foreigners to stay hinges on 3 basic things from what I can surmise. First is the cost of living. That's going up. Second is the convenience. It's just getting more convenient. And third, it's the climate. Hot, muggy, and lots of rain. So some people like that. I am one of those people. Although the price is increasing for things like accommodation, entertainment, and transportation, they are noticeably higher than they were just like 5 years ago. And arguably they're high enough to place Thailand just barely in the budget vacation destination list. Some things still remain cheap though, and thankfully so. The trees and bushes I planted throughout the property were really cheap. Second-year plants can be bought for between $3 to $5 USD each on average. And quote-unquote exotic plants are readily available here and often not considered anything special. I've visited at least 8 or 9 nurseries. There are a couple dozen in Khon Kaen, though many aren't listed on Google searches nor any map applications, at least not in English. These are the 3 that I think were the best that I have visited. First, there is one in the southwest side of Mittapop Road and the intersection cross or adjacent from central Khon Kaen. It's part of the Khon Kaen Agricultural Municipality Complex, or whatever that's called. Not the largest, but certainly adequate. So far, it's the only place that sells sod, which comes in 2 varieties and is cheap. I mean, 120 baht for 9 sheets of sod. That's like, what, $4 for 9 sheets? The next one is on the east side of Khon Kaen, and this one has the most variety of fruiting plants from my experience. Multiple varieties of eggplants are sold here, which aren't available at any of the other places that I've looked. The prices are also pretty cheap here, and it's pretty expansive. It doesn't look all that impressive from the road, but once you drive into it, you begin to realize just the staggering amount of things that they have available there. The final one that I would recommend is the one that is attached to the Terminal 3 station, and it is huge. It stretches an entire block and has various vendors on both sides of the street selling all manner of things, except, I might add, sod and all of those eggplant varieties that I was looking for. Though it does have an extensive garden sculpture and decoration inventory. So you're going to hear screaming and yelling in the background. The older of the 2 girls, or the neighbor girls beside us, I think she's no more than 6 years of age. She's decided to throw a tantrum and wishes her mom, her younger sister, her dog, and her grandmom to endure it, and thereby proxy me being so nearby, me to endure it. I'm like, girl, you're 6. Life is gonna get so much worse. Chill till the next episode, yo. Have mercy. Anyways, landscaping your yard in Thailand is cheap and plants will grow. Even in clay soil, everything so far is growing, except for one tree that Mainly kind of my fault, actually. I placed it in the wrong spot in the yard. It requires partial shade, and I was unaware of that, and it's getting full blasted sun, and it's pretty much already dead now. The problem with growing things here isn't whether the trees will root and grow. They certainly will. It's the insects and other wildlife that munch on your plants. We've got crickets and grasshoppers everywhere. As a result, we have at least 10 to 15 birds at any given time jumping around the yard and pecking for the insects. I mow the lawn constantly and keep the grass short just to make it easier for the birds to find the insects. And fortunately, when the birds are mostly gone to look at other places, dragonflies then show up. Additionally, I've seen a praying mantis. Normally, I find them creepy.
You in danger, girl.
I mean, creepy as all get out, but since they eat grasshoppers, I'll let it slide. Oh, by the way, in the past 2 months, I've seen like 8 snakes now. I believe the number is 8, though only 2 have been in our yard. I say only 2 like that's normal. So my next project is to remove that 1 sugar apple tree, bringing the number down to 4 total sugar apple trees, and then pruning all the mango trees. I want to prune them in such a way as to stunt their growth, and now is the time to do it since they've already just dropped their fruit. I mean, I love mangoes, but 5 mango trees, that's a lot, and I don't want these trees to grow too big. Okay, so I've got to go out in the yard and do some work now, so I will do more videos as soon as I possibly can. It looks like she's stopped screaming, so that's kind of... Nah, she started up again. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe.